step right up. Everyone's a winner, bargains galore. That's right. You too can be the proud owner of the quality that goes in before the name goes on. 1/10 of a dollar. 1/10 of a dollar. We got service after sales. You need perfume. We got perfume. How about engagement ring? Something for the lady, something for the lady, something for the lady. 3 for a dollar. We got a year in clearance. We got a white sale. And smoke damaged furniture. You can drive it away today. Back now. She's our gift. Coming off till it's one size fits all. No spills. You're tired of kitchen drudgery. Everything must go. Going out of business. Sale.
It's hard. There's no reason to price. Man, don't settle for less.
How do we do it? Body, turn up the volume.
Now you've heard it advertised. Don't hesitate. Don't come the doors down.
Don't reach out with your doors down.
Step right up.
That's right. It's the lady talks like slicing up, stops, I'm trying to mow your lawn. And then mows your lawn and picks up the kids from school and gets rid of her one thing, gets rid of the dress and 8 spots and delivers the pizza. And
it's
then it flies out to that spinning guard under the chase round for some reason. It plays a mean rhythm master and it makes a speech strong when it puts it on your collar and it's
only a dollar, step right up. It's only a dollar, step right up.
Signature, not complete, that's right. Portion product, price of purchase.
Step right up.
These lots are things we don't be fooled by cheap imitation. Living in life is contour sheets.
That's right.
Tired of people like the party, change your shorts, change your life, change your life, change it to a night called Kitty New Boy.
Get ready, alright. And it walks your dog and it doubles on sex. You can jump back, Jack. See you later, alligator. It seals your car. It gets rid of your gambling. That's it. Quit smoking. It is brand. It's a companion. And it's the only product you will need. All it's easy, simple. It's just a every time. Well, it takes place off hips, plus, thighs, chin, finger, gives you danger, and it finds you a job. It is a job. It's just a phone company, you take 10%, and it gives you your world. And you know it's a friend, and it's a companion, and it gets rid of your trailer's checks. It's new, it's approved, it's old-fashioned, but it takes care of business, never needs winding. Gets rid of black hairs, heartbreak, surprises. Christ, you don't want to be in a heartbreak, buddy. Come on. Because it's effective, it's defective, it creates household odors. It disinfects, it sanitizes for your protection. It gives you affection, it wins the election. Why put up with painful forms in your locker? It's a redeemable coupon, no obligation, no salesman will visit your home. Yeah, jackpot, prizes, all we're guaranteed. How do we do it? We give you your business, we're going out of business. We'll give you your business.
Get on the business end of our going out of business sale. Receive our free brochure. Send it easy to follow the simple instructions. Batteries not included. Send it for midnight tomorrow. Turn available. Step right up. You got a buddy, the Lord, forgive him and a small friend. Take it away.
Step right up. You can step right up. Come on, step right up.
You're with me, kid.
Step right up. prophecy, thousands of years ago, about a river that would come, and how this river would come. And then there was an earthquake centuries ago that caused the Mississippi River to run backwards. And the fissure that came out of that earthquake is what created the St. Joseph River. It's in this Great Lakes area, with all these glacial flow rivers that run north to south.
And it's the only one that runs east and west.
Okay? Waiting.
Decades.
And now?
Okay. This is easy.
So, we'll see.
Decades ago.
I'm comfortable. It's a little... Is it dying?
Wide open.
It's a little...
Murky.
Where are we now?
Wide open space.
It's nice.
It's uncomfortable.
It's cheap.
Well, I'd say it's like, it's like sometimes, what is it?
I don't know. It's kind of, it kind of surprised me.
Simple as that.
I'm just a normal person trying to deal with life. Trying to be, well, I really believe, and I try to tell my friends, and some of them get it, and some of them don't. Or maybe they're learning to. All you need to do is be kind. Smile. Always smile. Be kind. Be compassionate. Be considerate to other people. Don't let your shit take over the world, and everything else will take care of itself. You just need to take care of your shit. It's so easy. And it helps to be charismatic once in a while. I think I'm just kind of an average person. Yeah. That's about it.
I'm determined. I'm competent. I'm quick to make good decisions. I don't doubt myself. I don't doubt my decisions. I move forward quickly, and I move forward with the power of knowing that my decisions are for the greater good of myself, my family, and the people around me. Is that it?
I don't know. I like to, I don't get enough sleep. I don't know, that's about it.
Oh man, yeah! I'm a dreamer, ultimately. That's probably it. I'm a dreamer.
I'm relatively young, not as reckless as I used to be, and smarter than I thought I will become or would have become, and pretty hopeful about what's going to happen tomorrow.
I'd say that I'm a black woman who values her faith, her relationship with God, her family, who feels that I was given certain gifts and talents that I am to use to leave the world better. To be, not to leave the world better, but to help make the world a better place. I also think I was put here to encourage and help other people who have dreams and aspirations, and I help them figure out how to pursue them. That's kind of it, in a nutshell.
I like dogs. I am an intense lover of life. I crave desire. I have a huge love for laughter. And I appreciate creation.
I'm a 33-year-old who's just learning that he's an adult and a father. And learning that, I guess the easiest way to say this is that I'm figuring out I'm just like my parents. And excited.
Non-practicing humanist. No, that's a lie. I'm an unrepentant Rust Belter.
I was living somewhere else when I got a job out here. I never really spent any time here, but I realized online how cheap the market was. I looked at 40 houses. Of the 40, I ended up buying the first one I'd seen. I stupidly had a real estate agent who thought that my house was in a
horrible neighborhood.
And I shouldn't
buy it.
And that I should.
Probably live in the suburbs.
But I fell in love with my neighborhood. Well, first I fell in love with my house, but then I fell in love with
I was forced by circumstance to live here. Let's put it that way. I had to live here. But I kind of like it here. It's a nice place. I choose to be here now.
This area wouldn't be my first choice for where to live. It's very different than the rest of the area I've noticed. I would prefer to live where I grew up, but I got a good deal on rent. My neighborhood, it's not too bad. There are some more aggressive, drug-addicted types wandering around aimlessly, but
I was away for an
most
extended
part,
period of
that's a
time.
couple
And when I
blocks
moved
over.
back, I knew that I didn't want to live in the suburbs. I wanted to live in a neighborhood. Still, my financial motivation for moving back was mostly financial. And more so than wanting this to be
The
where
place
I
we
stayed
lived just
long
sort
term.
of fell into our laps, and we're adventurous folks, so we jumped on it.
I chose my house because it's a beautiful space. Brick-lined streets, tree-covered, and it's a place from where I could, in theory, walk to anywhere I needed to get to. It's nice to live that holistic kind of lifestyle.
My neighborhood is very slow.
And I love being close to what's going
Isn't
on.
really anything above 2 stories. So if you're ever in the 2nd story of a house, you can pretty much see forever. Because the trees aren't very tall and the homes aren't tall either. And
My neighborhood's
isn't
old.
much to break
I've lived here for
other
30
than a
days.
couple of church
It's owned in a way that's equal parts
So you can
ridiculous and
book out a
run down
neighborhood.
ruins.
Really,
When I do
It's about as though you can get
But I didn't choose to live here most of the time.
the size,
When we moved here, my parents moved here when I was 10 years old, so that was kind of out of
and
control.
feeling.
And I moved
It was
away and ended up coming back.
Our
for one
neighborhood is
reason or
not
another.
so insular
Mostly
as to be
reasons
like
Slightly tragic and
closed off
unfortunate.
to the outside world, but
I've lived
also
here
not
for
so
10 years
blown
now.
out
And I chose
oppressive
this community
that
for a couple
it's
of reasons.
like scary.
I wanted an older
I guess
community
it's
with
just sort of
sidewalks and
real
trees. I didn't want to live in
without
the suburbs
being
where everything is
prickly.
kind of cookie
So
cutter.
far,
I wanted diversity in a lot of ways. Around here, you can see a little bit of
My
everything.
apartment's small, but
It's so flat, and where I'm
The
from,
rent's
it's
cheap.
hilly.
My landlord
There are a couple
sucks,
little hills around,
but my
and
neighbors are okay.
I love that. The other thing that was important to me
They
was
stick to themselves mostly. I mean, it's not like we're having potlucks or anything.
there are empty nesters. There are young families just starting off with kids. There are couples. There are mostly white families, but there are a few black. There are some Latino families. There's a very large Jewish Orthodox community here. My church is in this neighborhood, and it's very welcoming.
I was really attracted
And
by
that's
this space.
really why I chose
I didn't know much about the neighborhood before moving in. I'd say it's about a third white, sort of old Polish Hungarian, a third African American, and a third Mexican Central American. It's a mix, it's a melange. I say a third. I'm not sure. The homes in my neighborhood are very much the American dream homes of the 1950s. People liked to be there, took pride in where they lived. The homes went through some serious downtimes, and because of lack of upkeep, were pretty hobbled. But now there are people who are moving in who really care about the homes, who are putting a lot of time and effort into them. And the rebuilding's interesting because people take what was given to them and make it something that works for their needs. So a home that was made for a husband and wife and 3 kids might now have 2 families and some young children living in there. The neighborhood has a bad rap for being violent, seedy, or criminal though. And unfortunately that gets ascribed to the people that live there. There have been murders blocks from here, and that is a hard thing to scrub away. I think because people perceive the neighborhood to be violent, they think that the people that move into the neighborhood have to be violent too.
We were very, very lucky because our neighborhood is on the river.
We were very lucky, and it's in the city.
And I think there's been a bit of an evolution, but both my husband and I grew up in the city.
Yeah, we moved back here, and when we did, we knew that we were really interested in moving into the city.
Yeah, and I think, to be honest, I think we're really interested in staying in the city and being in those older neighborhoods and just being a part of that.
Well,
When we were looking, we wanted to see if there was a house on the river that would work for us. And, when it was all said and done, we
knew we didn't want to live in the suburbs. We were very lucky to get this house.
To me, my neighborhood off Riverside Drive was the city. It was so important to me because of the river. The river was home. At the time, feeling safe was what was important to me because most of the time I didn't feel safe. So even when all the adults would yell,
Get away from the water!
It was safe, it was comfortable being there. To me, the river was my world.
Indigenous cities were all tied together by the boundaries of the riverways, of all the waterways. Natural boundaries, not political boundaries and private property or ordinances. They are where they are because of clear physical boundaries, natural boundaries. Whether it's the Kankakee south of South Bend or the St. Joseph River that runs through all of it.
A city is energy.
A city is intolerance.
A city is a connection to the rest of your
A
species.
city is orderly wilderness.
A city is enigmatic.
A city is an accident.
A city is a cage.
A city is an organ.
A city is a clusterfuck.
A city is dormant by day but comes alive at night.
A city is a choice.
A city is oppression.
A city is broken pavement.
A city is a bullshit tariff.
A city is inequality.
A city is larger than the individual, but comprised of the individual.
A city is inconsistent.
A city is a
A
dreamscape.
city is an oasis.
A city is its people.
A city is potential.
A city is illegible.
A city is different from each person's point of view. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Let me introduce a scene. A regular guy and a priest meet in a neighborhood divided by railroad tracks.
Excuse me, young man. Do you know what time it is or when the next bus comes?
Nah, I don't wear a watch. Time is, relative, don't you think?
Not when you need to catch a bus.
Whoa! Are we invisible?
I don't think of myself as invisible. But lately we've got all of these people coming onto our church property looking for the Pokemon. And I guess they thought that our church would be a great site to find the Pokemon, but that wasn't our decision. Random people on their phones coming into our church trying to catch the Pokemon, but they don't see the church, and they don't see me, and they don't see the other community people around them praying. It's just like, I can get the Pokemon here.
I know, it's like we need more interaction and less entertainment. Pokemon, well, I was downtown last night and there were maybe 100 people down there playing that shit. Shit, sorry.
The people in my community are worried about just getting by.
And sometimes, that's hard enough.
Time, space. My community deals in realities, not games or ideals. The people are vulnerable. They gotta come up or go down together. I think that we're anonymous, and a city should make us known. Anonymity is not a city.
Space, time. True. You know, sometimes I think of the country as a city, and all the cities are just neighborhoods with a lot of space in between them. Space, time, and really bad public transportation. A city is not one person staring into their phone. Advice for improving the feng shui of a house next to the railroad.
Look for practical ways to reduce noise levels. Soundproof, especially if you live close to a railroad track.
Create a visual separation between your house and the railroad. A tall row of evergreens will not only create an enclosure, but will also absorb some of the noise.
Attempt to deflect or dissipate the strong energy coming at your house. A mirror can work well in this case, or other objects similar in a window facing the railroad.
Ensure that your bedroom is located in the areas farthest from the railroad, in the most remote area of the house.
Concentrate on making excellent feng shui inside your home to counteract the challenging feng shui coming from outside it.
When working to improve the conditions of a house near the railroad, always stay open to the possibility of moving.
As you drift along and hear the song of wheels beneath your feet, do you ever think of the word gate figures out the meets? There's a man somewhere who on the air directs where trains will pass. He's sitting alone with his pen and phone and a time board in his glass. Not young nor old, but crowded and cold with hair fast turning gray. He's watched the sheets and made the beat for a many troubled day. His job is to know how fast they'll go and where they will be stopping, to read the mind, ahead and behind, and know why time they're dropping. He must explain why planes go in and why the speed was struck. He will catch hell, but truth must tell, he cannot pass the buck. Day in, day out, he goes without his exercises and lunches. He is forlorn, a gambler born, who plays his many hunches. This man don't care if train crews swear because they throw some switches. He has grown tough doing his own stuff to keep them from the ditches. But oh, off the job, he's with the rest of the mob. He's one real lively player. When life's worthwhile, there's time to smile for the crowd you train to later.
understanding of the insects and the mysterious principle known to science as self-organization. Simple units forming larger patterns through interactions with one another. An ant colony develops when each individual does its job in response to outside cues. The rules for this behavior are somehow internally programmed. They result from the way the nervous system is organized. Every ant knows their own roles and faithfully carries out their tasks. They are able to work together effectively because they all have the same goal, for the good and the unity of the colony. Different ants take on different team roles. Those that fight are also known as soldier ants, although most of the time they will do the work of the worker ant. There are worker ants of all different sizes, doing all different tasks. And the smallest ants are in charge of taking care of the young. The roles can also change depending on the needs of the colony. When under attack, for example, more soldiers will be summoned to the defense, leaving their worker roles for the more urgent tasks.
Like ants, for example, have these crazy colonies, this super organism, and they all work. They all have to work their designated jobs, so that if a flood comes, they can all bond together and float down the river, and the colony won't be lost. I mean, maybe a few of them will drown, but if they all float together, the colony won't be lost. And that's the reason we rule the world. Why ants rule the world. Because we live like that. Because we live like that. Because we live like that. Because we live like that.
I think one of the most amazing things about South Bend is that it's been able to withstand flood after flood. And not just the floods of the waters of the St. Joseph River and the Kankakee Marsh, but floods of immigration, floods of businesses, the Industrial Revolution, the timber industry, all these things that have come to take from it. And it's been able to stand its ground and not only give, but to take back from these peoples and cultures to create this beautiful foundation of love and art and tangents and a little bit of deviance and decadence. South Bend is one of the kindest and most loving places that I've ever experienced in urban sprawl. It's got every ghetto you can think of, every luxury home you can think of, every hoopty to every Rolls Royce. And underneath all of it, there's this weird musical spirit. So that everything from you hear, from the trains to the sirens to the music itself, creates life. And that makes this urban sprawl a beautiful place to exist.
Woo! This construction's killing. Everywhere I go, anytime I try to get someplace, I end up zigzagging all over left and right. You never remember what still had it. Even to get to the simplest spot takes forever.
Man, I haven't been downtown in weeks. I guess I've just been so caught up in the day-to-day with my kids and everything. It's like chaos all the time, and I'm just trying to put one foot in front of the other. I don't know. I just sort of feel like it's easy to get caught up in being a homebody. Just making a home. I've really missed you guys.
Yeah.
Agreed. Nesting. I don't even want to drive downtown anymore. What? I thought we were supposed to be a dime city. What dime city has this many torn up streets?
Maybe they're digging for something, like buried treasure. Like there's some quirky pirate map with all the waterways underneath downtown, or bodies with gold teeth.
I mean, it's one way to fund the city. To pay to bring back a city that already died. I mean, we're coming back. All this construction is proof enough.
Nah, that's just a last-ditch effort to save something that we should have let go a long time ago. You know, that's not growth. It's just a massive, pulsing, tumor.
Technically a tumor is growth. But,
Oh.
damn, you're so fucking dark, man. Like, the people are alive. Sure, there are certain parts of the city that are dead, but we're gonna survive. Hell, I'm a ninja with mad skills. You can't kill me.
I found a dead rabbit in my yard today.
Yeah, I know.
It was fresh too. I was out there with my neighbor cutting back trees, and it got me thinking about how we're really all pruning right now, getting rid of dead weight so that new growth can happen.
Well, I'm not going back to the rags or in that hole. And our bruises, they will keep coming, but we will never fold. And I was your silver lining, high from my toes. I was your silver lining, but now I'm home. Hooray, hooray, I'm your silver lining. Hooray, hooray, but now I'm gone. And the grass, it was tickling, and the sun was on the rise. I never felt so wicked as when we willed our love to die. Hooray, hooray, I'm your silver lining. Hooray, hooray, but now I'm gone.
All right. You know, this is what happened. There's a guy across the street from me who for 3 hours used this ridiculously loud gas-powered weed whacker. It drove me crazy.
You're already
Well, I know that. You know, some people, they just don't give a shit. But it's nice outside, and people tend to get up a little more. I love that. I just hate those weed whackers. I mean, how about a broom, right? A broom could do that.
no.
Well, okay, rakes then. Rakes, right? I don't know, some people are just into their power tools, I guess.
Where would I like to die? Not here. Not in South Bend. I mean, back home probably. I'm still very tied to my city back home. It's a matter of my family being there versus not necessarily being here. And it's still very important to me. I've been here for about 20 years, but I never saw myself living here forever. I mean, I guess that could change. I could change, I can grow. Maybe something that I'm not comfortable with right now, in 20, 30 years, I could be, a little more comfortable with. Yeah.
You know, that's almost like, I'm not sure, it's like putting makeup on a corpse.
But, maybe it's a corpse coming alive. Like young Frankenstein.
Oh, okay.
It's alive. I don't know. I kind of felt like when I moved here 13 years ago, it was on life support. Like beeping shit all hooked up to it. But it didn't die. Or maybe it did, and now it's coming back to life.
Yeah, but why have we built death up to be this horrible, horrible thing? And we make it howl with grim reapers and ghouls and scary things. But for a biologist, death is nothing more than a part of the cycle. If nothing dies, nothing grows. We have to let nature take its course to allow for what's sprouting to sprout.
Yeah, but what industry is sprouting here?
Pokemon.
What's going to bring about this growth to grow the city back? I mean, I know people are trying. We have all these parks that aren't really parks, ignition, innovation, but that could take a while. And I mean, a real industry has to come to revive the city. We need industry and jobs, or we won't have people. We won't have community.
Ranger's back.
Been a while, guys. Been a while.
All right.
Are you ready?
Good.
Don't drop it.
I'll try not to.
See something
She'll
fancy?
drop it,
Yeah.
don't worry.
Oh!
Oh,
Thanks, man.
Harsh.
that's nice. That was beautiful.
Oh.
Back.
Whoa.
Oh my God. I'll just break the system. Okay. Okay. I got it.
You know, I've been reading a lot of Laura Ingalls Wilder to my kids
Oh,
lately.
yeah.
You mean Little House on the Prairie was over?
And what was his name? That
Michael.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
so, are you going to listen to the story? Yeah, all right. So in the beginning of the book, there are frontiersmen, and they're living in Wisconsin. And then Pa starts to see this wagon going up and down the dirt road once a day. So for him, that just means people are getting too close. So he takes the whole family and moves them even farther out west to Kansas. And they still live off of whatever the closest house is, or sorry, closest city is. But, you know, I don't know, they seem like really good citizens. They're very thoughtful and polite, but really they just want to be left alone and keep to themselves. Sometimes I think there's a lot of people in the U.S. that are like that. We don't want anybody to tell us what to do. We just want to be left alone.
But nobody does that. Like nobody.
Well, not unless you're like a mountain man out in the woods and you're killing your own food. Other than that, yeah, it's all put together.
Where would I like to die?
Man, if it was up to me, I'd probably die under a tree or something. You know, with a voice recorder next to me. Yeah. I've always liked the idea of going off by myself and dying, like a cat. I'd bring a tarp with me, make it easy. Somewhere in Southwest Michigan, under a fucked up oak tree or a mulberry tree. Something to snack on. Yeah.
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 For the women who are told that they are just trying to find themselves, they will seek out their souls in the midst of your thighs, discover the discernment in the decadence of your breasts, your chest will thunder, unrecognizable and consolable. While he makes mischief in the light of day by night, he will cling to the salt of your sweat. Every hurling grind will met by the swelling tint of his pants. This is a dance he knows too well. And what can he do but quell his hitched breath in his nothingness so nicely set off, like lover past villain, like blessed caught sinning, wrapped up in for tongue climbing over newly soft hills to divide and to conquer is but one thing he has studied ardently. And so you, dearest one, left with your endless soliloquy and unforgiving beauty, and soul and filling golden goddesses stolen from content, who meant only to live and love to forget.
Hell, a few years ago, South Bend was a wasteland, especially after 5 or 6 o'clock. You could go downtown and it'd be deserted. You could hear the wind whistling down the streets.
Almost like tumbleweeds blowing by and shit.
Yeah, it was deserted.
I don't know. I mean, why are we so afraid of dying cities in America anyway? I was reading this article the other day about this place in Syria, way before this fucked up war. They found something like 700 settlements that had been abandoned in the 8th century or something. I mean, It's like an archaeological park now or something.
A tourist attraction.
An archaeological park.
Yeah, but I don't know if a city can just die like that. I mean, if South Bend's dying, that means the people are dying too. A city can't really die unless everyone moves away and completely abandons it, right? I mean, if it's completely forgotten about and covered with vines and just forgotten.
You know, vines might be incredibly cool like that.
You know, and even then, we'd probably just dig it up at some point and it'd come alive again.
Well, there's too much money now for that to happen. It's happened to the empty buildings and houses, but now they're even trying to tear those off.
And people are finally asking to live downtown rather than in beige-filled suburbs. And those new condos on the river are crazy expensive.
Oh, yeah.
You know, even something as simple as trying to get status as an international airport. I mean, this doesn't mean we're going to fly to Europe anytime soon, but at least we're thinking ahead about what could be possible.
I guess it's the little wins. In a city like this, you have to appreciate all the little wins.
Where would I like to die? Gotta be quicker.
You know, I made a point of telling my family about 10 years ago that I didn't want to die in America. And I still think it's a nice thought. I haven't thought about it for a while, but yeah, it would be neat. I don't know. I would go off to some far-flung place in Asia or Africa and have one great last big adventure. But if I were to die in South Bend, it would be okay. I've even gone to funeral homes and written down what should happen if I would die today. I am prepared to die here.
If we're being honest, South Bend isn't a dying city. Dying really implies that we're still on a downward slope. It's a fucked up label. It's wrong to look at any city that way. I think that at one point we bottomed out in the past, and now we're finally climbing out.
Where would I like to die? Well,
Lake Michigan during a horrible storm.
I mean, people are trying, but sometimes there's so much pushback, it's crazy. I mean, we say we want to grow and be more diverse, but I don't know. I'm thinking about this listserv that I got on when I first moved into my neighborhood. And the first thing that goes around is an email about how there's black kids running around asking for money to shovel snow. And that broke my heart, because when we were poor, my dad did the same thing. He shoveled snow to put food on our table.
yeah, man. It's all dying or died or being reborn. But it's our culture, or part of our culture, not the city. I mean, a city's too many things. It's deals, ideas, fucking industrial revolution. I'd say it's a failure of a system, but not of a city. Maybe the systems that, with the economic systems that help build this city are finally dying.
Well, they died like 60 fucking years ago. I mean, how long can we stay in recovery?
Where would I like to die?
Right here.
Really? It doesn't matter. Nothing happens after that. I'm a Hindu. When I die, I'd like to have my family around. But I have my wife here and her family and my brothers back home, so I'm torn again. The way I grew up, you always say prayers at someone's death. Everyone comes and says prayers and they cry, and Sanskrit prayers. They're beautiful. If I died here, I would not get those. And that's really the only thing I think about. What I've been led to believe is that those prayers and the vibrations of those prayers are really more for the people around me than they are for me. And as a Hindu, I believe in those kinds of prayers and vibrations and concentrations and focal points of people, so that even if I'm dead, it will still help.
It's not going to die. There's a little more stubbornness there. A lot less independence. I think there's also some desperation there. That's what happens when there's nothing around you anymore. Everything's been turned into suffocation and total asphyxia, you know?
Yeah.
What's really dying here? What? Our independence.
Where would I like to die? Oh my God. When I first moved here, I got this job, and I was interviewing with the lady who eventually became my boss. And I asked her, like, what kind of commitment do you want from the person you hire? Like, how long would you want someone to work for you? For a long, long time? And she said to me, I don't want to die in South Bend, Indiana, and I don't think you should want that either. And I can feel that. I don't think, let me put it this way. I don't think I want to retire in South Bend. South Bend is not my premier retirement destination.
Vita mare quanto è bella, vita tanta sentimento, come tu, chi tiene a mente, aspettato fai sognare. Guarda qua chi stu giardino, siente sciure arance, un profumo così fino, l'intoccare se ne va. E tu dice parta Dio, ta lontana da stu cuore, da sta
You know, there were many years when it was kind of depressing to live here. To be very honest with you, more than kind of. You know, I feel differently about it now. You know, I don't get that same sense like people are just waiting at home to get sick and die. You know, there's more going on here. So I try to do little things like shop in South Bend rather than on Grape Road or wherever. I know I'm goofy about stuff like that. But the other night, I was at the TJ Maxx on the south side. Yeah. And it was a booming place. I didn't feel like it was the same second class TJ Maxx as I used to. So it really is the little things.
Where would I like that? Jeez, guy can't get a break.
I like to die saying mass. You know, my hero is Romero. He died saying mass. I don't think I'd like to be shot. He was shot saying mass. Yes. But if it's doing what I love, and if it's here amongst people, I think that would be great.
You know, I think South Bend will continue to be a dying city until we accept and embrace what we already have. The rich, deep culture we already have here. Well said.
I'm out.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Night.
Let's face it, we've lost that sense of where the place we're from is an important part of who we are. We live in a postmodern age where the place you live is transient. I mean, historically and globally, it used to be such an important part of who we were, right? You were nurtured by the food that was grown where you were from and all that. And so the place you're from is very real. And now we have these mobile lives, and so maybe dying in and remaining in the same place is, well, less relevant. I want to die in a place surrounded by people who know me for who I am. Frankly, since I'm no longer a transitory member of this community, I mean, I've been here for almost 20 years, and I have to identify with it somewhat, for good or ill. A lot of people around here know me for who I am, flies and warts and all. If I can be comfortable with who I am, and the people around me know me as I am, there's a kind of satisfaction in that acceptance that is, I guess you could call it transcendent. There's a kind of transcendence that we all aspire to as humans.
A city is electric light. A city is a steam underworld.
A city is always changing.
A city is a shitload of people.
A city is the decay of its forest neighborhood.
A city is diversity.
A city is the understanding of how we got to this point.
A city is where you're loyal to a space.
A city is a physical manifestation of what we want and need and experience.
A city is a place where people won't give up on it.
A city is a settlement in a confined area.
A city is an amalgam of neighborhoods.
A city is a representation of what kind of people live there.
A city is roads and railroads and rivers and trees.
A city is where people engage one another.
A city is people who pool their resources. A city is a place to find work.
A city is a governing body that takes care of the people that it represents.
A city is an investment in infrastructure.
A city is a port. A city is a commercial district. A business hub. A city is a lot of respect.
A city is a practical and spiritual center.
A city is its history.
A city is a community.
A city is how people celebrate life.
Every time I've ever returned to this city, it has done nothing but rebuild my own self.
I have seen it rebuild itself completely. I have seen it tear itself down and new things grow in its place every year that I've been here.
This city has an amazing ability to regenerate itself. Its self-identity, its corporate identity, its spiritual identity.
Even if corporate upper echelon tries to kill it.
This place cannot be killed. It has this indomitable spirit that is unlike any other I've ever seen.
And if you look at a place that's disheveled and run down, if you look to the left or if you look to the right, you'll see new growth. You'll see that rejuvenating spirit.
Attention, attention. An opportunity for every business and professional in South Bend to assist in promoting the prosperity of South Bend. The Industrial Bureau of the Chamber of Commerce and the Commercial Club Consolidated wants you to contribute to carrying out a plan which will produce the following results. First,
It will bring a minimum of 1,000 workers and cause an increase of 8% to the population of South Bend.
second,
It will unite the best citizens and best interests of South Bend in high work of a constructive character.
third,
It will bring new life and new spirit to South Bend and bring new industries that be a far greater force than money.
it will create a greater diversity of industries and make more jobs for the workers and more workers for the jobs. It will increase the profits and the income of every living business and professional man in South Bend. It will divide the burden of taxation, thus decreasing our taxes, and at the same time provide a better market for real estate, increasing its value. And the erection of new homes and factories will further increase our population and prosperity. The question should not be whether one should or should not subscribe to this fund, but
How much?
There are 9 bands that make up the Potawatomi Nation. We relate to this city, but the whole area is called the Great Lakes Ohio River Valley, a much larger geographic entity. When thinking of citizenship as a small neighborhood or block, that is very narrow-minded and small. You really are responsible for the whole entirety of a city or of a nation. Accountable and responsible for everybody around you. And when talking of citizens, that is when the accountability and the responsibility comes in. So when you are thinking of who you are and what you are, remember this. You will not survive without your community, but your community will survive without you. And I thought, how lovely and how strange a river is. A river is just a river, always there. But the water flowing through it is never the same water, and is never still.
It's always changing and always on the move.
And over time, the river itself changes too.
it widens and it deepens as it scrubs and scours, gnaws and kneads, eats and bores its way through the land.
Even the greatest rivers, the Nile, Ganges, the Yangtze, the Mississippi, the great green greasy grave of Limpopo, all set about with fever trees, must have been no more than a trickling of a stream before it was a great river.
Are people like that? I wondered. Am I like that? It's always me, like the river itself, always flowing but different, like the water flowing through the river, sometimes walking steadily along, sometimes surging over rapids, sometimes meandering, with hardly any movement. Sometimes gurgling, with pleasure, sometimes sparkling in the sun.
Sometimes
Sometimes
Sometimes.
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 And always, I hope. Do I change like the river, widening and deepening, eddying back on myself sometimes, bursting my banks sometimes because of too much water, because of too much life in me, and sometimes dried up from a lack of rain?
Will the I that is me grow and widen and deepen?
Or will I stagnate and become an arid riverbed?
Will I allow people to dam me up, to confine me with a wall, so that I can flow only where they want me to?
Will I allow them to turn me into a canal to be used for their purposes?
Or will I make sure that I flow freely, coursing my way through the land and plowing a valley of my own? My name is Brian Nolan. I am 33 years old, and I grew up in South Bend, and I live here now with my wife and my 3 children.
I'm Stephanie Rist. I'm 37. I grew up in this area, and I left for school for about 12 years, and I've been back for about 4 years.
My name is Daniel Newton, and I wasn't born in South Bend, but I've lived here for a long time.
My name's Asha Barnes. I came here from college. I attended the University of Notre Dame, and I majored in anthropology.
My name is Emmanuel Karaman, and I've lived in South Bend since 1997, almost 20 years, and I'm 38 years old. That's about it.
I'm Julia Stetzer. I'm 28. I grew up in South Bend, moved away about 5 years or so ago, and I've been traveling and working and whatnot. And I come back here all the time because there truly is no place like South Bend. There is no place that has people like South Bend, so thank you to all of you.
Hi, I'm Yael, and I had the pleasure of living in South Bend for 6 years, from 2008 to 2014.
Hello, my name is Rami. I was not born in South Bend, but I've been here since 1997, so it's my home right now.
I'm gonna stop you guys for a second.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Before we end, because there's going to be some audience participation, we just wanted to honor you guys. Great job.
First, Andy goes.
Yes.
Yes.